Hi, I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Educates, and today we're going to take a look at creating this fabulous holiday centerpiece. Can be for Christmas or for New Year's, or even just with regular greens, you can utilize this for wedding and event work. So you can see that we've created kind of that bohemian style design that is lower through the center and then comes up around the outside. We have a few other unique flowers that are dancing up on the top to add that depth and motion throughout this composition. So let's take a look at creating this design. Okay, to start this centerpiece, we're actually starting with an etched pottery. This one comes in gold. They also come in a copper and in a silver. But we're going to use this on a diagonal basis. And so I'm going to be utilizing the Midnight Foam from Smithers Oasis. Here you can see that I've marked how big my container is. And then I'm going to put it in on the diagonal. And that allows me to have a really good water reservoir, so you can see how the customer can add in water easily on both sides. And we're doing a holiday centerpiece, so it's something they might have on their table for a long time. And just going back, I have the Midnight Foam from Smithers Oasis. So I do like to use the foam because it gives me the option to really directionalize my insertions. And I'm able to space out my floral materials and really get the most out of each thing. So I'm just cutting up some of the holiday greens here, trying to keep it on the main stem as much as possible, so that I can have easier insertions. So some of these side pieces, you can see I'm just going to turn them to the side and come in. By the time the other flowers are over the top, that tip is going to be hid. And then we're also putting some of these in. You can see that they're going to drape out of the design. So I like the impact that has on the design. And rather than lay them all in flat where they would just disappear, I'm using the diagonal presentation of the foliages and then just utilizing them to create some dimension onto this container. And so there you can see I started with this cedar, and then we're going to come in and add some white pine in the same way. So same kind of thing there. I cut the middle out of that and then brought that tip in. And so each piece, I'm doing longer pieces so that they're going to poke out between the florals that we're going to add. That way I can be efficient with my insertions. And so right now I feel like we have enough, and we're going to come in with some of the other base materials. So I always want to add in a balance of materials, adding some long-lasting items. And so you can see here I'm actually adding in some white buttons, but I'm going to have some Scabiosa scoops that are going to be dancing over the top. They kind of look like they're related. So the buttons are going to kind of form the frame around on the outside. And we're going to use some disbud chrysanthemums in the center to be part of our focal area. And so these buttons kind of tie that together and bring that together. And then to add a little bit of motion. So first we're going to start by creating a frame, and I'm going to use the Star of Bethlehem to add in that side kind of hug that we see in the Bohemian design. The Star of Bethlehem is a great long-lasting material and ties into holidays really well. So those are gonna dance up above. I am gonna be adding those chrysanthemum disc buds at the end. So kind of one way I save space for them is thinking about them being a fist. And so that if I do need to visualize kind of where I'm gonna put my materials. I can put those in and just kind of get that visualization of putting that material in. I do wait more toward closer to the end to add them because they do tend to sometimes shatter a little bit. And then for a textural difference, we're going to add some hypericum. So what we're doing is kind of creating connection points. So I have 2 coming there, and then I am going to add 1 up into the center a little bit later. And then now we're just going to add in our scoops, again, higher, so that they will be dancing over the other materials that are going to go a little bit deeper down in to the focal area. So you can see how those kind of look like they're a little bit related to the white buttons, just kind of tying back and having them be friends. So next we're going to come in. I've got some Cotton Expression roses, some premium white spray roses, and then the white disc buds that are going to be in the focal area. So we're going to come in with the premium spray roses and just have them kind of come across from each other and talk to each other. And so we have those lines that are connecting. And then again, 1 will go up. And so the roses are going to do the same kind of thing. They're going to come in with 1 on this side, and then 1 on this side, and then 1 will come up. So now I'm going to come in and add those cremins in. At this point, I can see a little bit of the midnight foam yet, but you'll see how when we start adding those lower focal flowers that it really disappears. And so that's the benefit of it. It kind of adds just like a shadow in, and so you don't have to do a lot of coverage for the foam. And then we're just going to come back in now and look at how those visual paths go together and where we're going to need the other connections to come through. I'm running into some stuff, but you just bring your hands right up into the top of the flower where you're inserting it into the foam and feed it in. Then if you feel like you're running into something, pull it all the way out and then go back in again into a different hole so that you have that stem making contact with the foam for sure. So just taking a look at my visual pathways through there, and then gonna come in and just add this last hypericum in here. So each floral element has kind of its own space and territory, and to dress it up a little bit more, we're going to add some of this gold painted foliage. So I have it here in the Italian ruscus, and so I'm going to be able to add that in, kind of extend the lines, and then a little bit through the center. So you can see I'm using the whole piece. I can cut it here, have that go in to the end, then tip up those other pieces and have them come up in through the florals. And lastly, a little bit of the painted seeded eucalyptus that is a really rich color in this gold. It'll add a textural element in and a little bit more shimmer and shine, and really is a great element. All the different painted things that they have now, it's really a great way to add a lot of shine into your designs. So that's a larger piece, and so I'm going to kind of take him and split him. So I can have half go one way and actually kind of go 3 different directions there. And so we kind of have that going through the center. We have the gold ruscus going through the other way. And so we're just kind of completing those visual pathways that we've created. And at this point now, I see just a teensy bit of foam. So I can come back here and just add one more piece of pine there. But you see that I didn't overgreen. That's where you see really people start with this whole big mound of foliage and add flowers in. And it's really adding a lot more labor into your compositions. So I want you to give this a try and create fabulous florals for your customers. I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Educates.